Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned into another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of not just the news, but answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, Chris, hey, what was up with that video that you made public in this channel yesterday, or today, the thing that you said you were going to do with the Star Wars stuff, because we're kind of tired of hearing about Star Wars in this channel where I thought you were a geek. That was a really horrible question to answer, but either way, I have made it known to the public that I do intend on publishing a completely separate channel with Star Wars stuff. That doesn't mean that Star Wars stuff won't leak into TLDR, but it does mean that I will probably be pushing a lot of my Star Wars related fandom into a separate social channel. It's just better that way, I think, for everybody. And I think the people who are most happy about that aren't Star Wars fans necessarily, but people who don't care about Star Wars. You just want me to talk about tech, and so I do plan on focusing on that for the most part within TLDR, this particular channel, because I know that's what you want, as well as my classic channel, because I know that's what you want. Each one of them has a place, believe it or not. This is where I want to publish a lot of the live stuff, a lot of the long-form stuff. Now, I know that you want me to talk about the tech news, which I talk about all the time. But I do want to bring up, if only for Richard Wooding, someone in our community, he's also one of the Supernomies, aka with the patrons. Can't do this TLDR broadcast without him. I really appreciate everybody who supports me that way. Starting at just $2 a month, you get all the bonuses, all the things, all the TLDRs, all the videos, all the Chris Pirillo, and then some. I'm drooling on myself because Richard, guess what? Now here in America, Trader Joe's makes South African-inspired biltong. Now, this is not as good as the Bloody Lekker biltong, but the Bloody Lekker biltong, like, cost $30 on Amazon to get. So I'm like, okay, this is like $5 or whatever, and so I gave it a shot, and this biltong is pretty close. It's cut thick, a little thicker than I'd want it to be. Not exactly like the Bloody Lekker flavor. Pretty vinegary, though. Tart, chewy, dry. Good. If anybody was looking for a good snack, I think this would be the one to try next. I love biltong, or the idea of biltong. I've only tried 2 other biltongs. One I didn't like at all. It was too vinegary. But the Bloody Lekker one that I talked about in my review in the Classic channel, along with the Sriracha Stout from Rogue Brewery. This is a Rogue. Is it Rogue Ales? Rogue Brewing Company? Rogue. That's all I know. Rogue and Sriracha. Biltong. Amazing snack for geeks and nerds and non-geeks and nerds. Because, come on. You gotta eat, right? Might as well eat good food. Biltong's worth it. I love the biltong. If only because it makes me feel like I'm roughing it, you know? Beef jerky. But it's not just beef jerky. It's biltong. And this is inspired, so it's not made there, I think. Inspired. Oh, often pronounced as bultong. Sorry. I'm all biltong. I'm all American up in here. In this hizzy. Okay, so the title of this video, or podcast, however you're listening to this, if I can get SoundCloud to work again, is 7 epic Game of Thrones goodies to rule your own Westeros. I love Game of Thrones. I really do. Not the books, not the graphic novels, the show. Don't spoil it for me. I don't want to know who dies next. And hopefully it won't be me. I don't plan on choking on my bull song. I guess I've been saying it. It took Trader Joe's to tell me. I think South Africans may be too polite to tell me that I was mispronouncing it. Okay, so I found awesome things if you also like Game of Thrones. Now, if you don't like Game of Thrones, man, you haven't lived. Okay, maybe you just don't like it. It is violent. It is of a different time, but it is so good. So well written, so well acted. I love Game of Thrones. I don't ever want it to end. It's like one of those things. Okay, so these, you might have remembered a long time ago, I showed everybody my Game of Thrones coasters with a house, or houses on them. My house, I'm House Targaryen, just so you know. That's okay if you're not House Targaryen. But these are other coasters. They're like the wax seals from the houses, 6 of them. Targaryen, Stark, Baratheon, Tyrell, Lannister, and Greyjoy. So you can get those coasters if you want. That's kind of neat. Sorry if that screen is a bit too bright for the camera. Let me keep scrolling. Hodor, 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 Hodor. Hodor, 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 Hodor. That is my review of the Hodor pop vinyl character. Do you know who this guy is? Do you know what this guy knows? What does Jon Snow know? And if you don't know the answer to that question, you do not deserve this awesome action figure. Monopoly has a Game of Thrones edition. Now, this is kind of neat. This is how you play Game of Thrones. That's cool. I didn't know until I went searching for it yesterday. By the way, the link for all these things will be in the description for everybody. Another way of playing Game of Thrones with playing cards, except Joffrey. Why is Joffrey going to be the ace of spades? Man. Anyway, okay, so there are Game of Thrones themed playing cards. There are also the Valar Morghulis. I've been practicing that for the past day. Valar Morghulis. Valar Dahiris. I'm very bad at my Valerian. I'm practicing though. I'm getting better. But the actual coin that's used in the show, or certainly within the book series, is available. This is officially licensed. Valar Morghulis. You never really know what this coin is going to get you access to, so you might want to get the coin. Now, if you happen to be a fan of coffee like myself, obviously I'm on it this morning, there is a color-changing Winter is Coming mug, and if winter is coming, you better be drinking hot beverages. And if you're going to be drinking hot beverages, you might as well be drinking them out of this mug, even if you're not House Stark. This is going to... See, here's the thing. Even if you don't know anything about Game of Thrones, if you get that mug and you're, like, drinking it in front of people, your cool points will automatically go up by 125. Seriously, it's been scientifically, it's been proven. Even if you don't know anything about Game of Thrones, you're just drinking out of the mug, trust me, that might actually get you, something. A date, maybe, if you're single. A new friend, maybe, if you're lonely. I'm just saying, the mug is kind of cool. I like mugs, though. I'm a huge fan of mugs, if only because I'm a huge fan of drinking out of mugs. The coffee stuff, directly outright. Today is Friday, which means it is an AMA. Patrons get the priority, so I'll be diving into their questions today. On Monday, I'll be diving into everybody's questions from the open Facebook thread. MindMeister, it's a mind mapping tool. It's been around for years. They've got a personal plan, 2-year subscription, and we've got it at 51% off for you. If you're looking for a better way of organizing your thoughts, if you've not yet looked into mind mapping software, it could be transformative. Don't use a spreadsheet. Don't use a word processor. Use something like a mind mapping tool to help you brainstorm. It can help you organize your thoughts in a different way. MindMeister is one of the leading tools that is available for you to use as a mind mapping service. 51% off at deals.lockergnome.com. We also have the unofficial Raspberry Pi manual, not to be confused with the Raspberry Pi that you eat. We're talking about the Raspberry Pi computer, super affordable, super accessible, super successful. We've got a guide for you, unofficial guide for free. Also, the M535 wireless optical mouse, 50% off if you were looking for that. Why pay full price for a mouse? I'm giving 50% off. Really? It's 50% off. Deals.lockergnome.com. Also, the Surface 3 giveaway. Free, because it's a giveaway. It's free. Deals.lockergnome.com. I don't want to pay 50% for something. I want it for free. Okay, fine. You get it for free there. Deals.lockergnome.com. We got giveaways left and right. Now, speaking of the Surface Pro 3, next week at some point, I plan on using my Pocket 7. This was sent to me by one of the patrons, one of the Super Nomies. They make this. And what my Pocket 7 is happens to really fit, I think, a lot of what this community wants. This is basically a version of Windows, and I think Windows 7, on a USB drive right here. So you basically stick it into any USB port, if I can figure out how to use this particular... Oh, there we go. This is new. USB 3.0 key here. Key, flash drive, whatever you call it. It's kind of nice. I like this. It's got a little lever, pops up or down, kind of snaps back. That's neat. It's from SanDisk. At least they sent this to me, if only as a review unit. So basically, I plug this into a USB port, Mac or PC. This is super fast, by the way. It's USB 3, as long as it's a USB 3 port, to support that speed. So I have a full version of Windows on here. I can make changes to it and decide to write those changes back to the flash drive when I shut down or not. So effectively, you can carry your PC, your Windows PC around with you wherever you go. Once you've got a Windows install set up and you're good to go, this is your Windows PC right here. This is it. Because you can plug it into any PC and it basically piggybacks the hardware. Pretty useful tool, especially if you want to use Windows on the go and you're tired of, oh, I got a slow PC. I wish I could use that one because it's faster, but it sucks because of this, that, or the other thing. Well, run it on a flash drive. It's going to be fast. It's on a flash drive. My Pocket 7, can't wait to try this for the first time because I was waiting. I was waiting because no, I'm putting it on USB 3 now. I'm like, oh, cool. And there's even an encrypted option available. They're still working through some of the details around that. But either way, this is a product that I think is long overdue. Surprised that Microsoft hadn't considered something like this. I mean, there are probably reasons for that. But my Pocket 7 figured it out. Windows on a flash drive. My Pocket 7. That will be happening next week. And I bring that up because I talked about the Surface Pro 3, Surface 3 giveaway. Not to be confused with the Surface Pro 3. I have a Surface Pro 3. I'll be plugging this into the Surface Pro 3 and trying it. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Without installing anything, really. I plug it in. I got a new operating system. It's great. Virtual machines, kind of, on a flash drive. So they're not really virtual, but they are. But they're not. They're on a flash drive. These computing paradigms, they're fun for me to kind of play around with. I enjoy that. So, AMA. Now I'm going to answer questions now that I've geeked out about Biltong, games, hardware. Did I miss anything? Yes, I missed the page that I need to jump to see the questions that are being asked. Now, I'm answering questions. Any question that you might ask. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to answer every single question that's asked, but the patrons do get the priority. Aaron Westendorp asks, I know I asked this last night in the patron hangout. You did, but I'll answer it again for the sake of giving people some clarity here. Okay, actually, I'm gonna walk across the room to get a prop. I'm getting old. I got the old man grunts. I know I asked this last night in the patron hangout, but what are your thoughts regarding the Star Wars Holiday Special, and would things be different if Lucas had creative control? You can save this question closer to the holidays if you want. I'm not gonna save the question. I'm gonna answer it right now. So, yes and no. The holiday special, I think, was a great idea. Life Day sounds like fun. At that point in time, the public's thirst for things that were Star Wars related was pretty damn high. It's difficult to explain what that time was like, even for myself, because I was so young. So I can't remember a lot of it. I couldn't even tell you if I even saw the Star Wars Holiday Special when it originally aired. I have subsequently seen it on YouTube. I think someone had posted it. But the only part that I can stomach, the entire, I watched it, or at least most of it. I kind of like zoned out during the whole old Wookiee watching pole dancing or the sexy dancing on the hollow table thing. It got weird. I mean, it was weird. The only thing that I really liked was the cartoon. It was a lot like, it reminded me a lot of the cartoons that I watched when I was growing up. Not that I, appreciated the actual design of the animation, but it was kind of neat. It was also Boba Fett's debut. Many people don't know that, but Boba Fett did not debut in The Empire Strikes Back. He actually debuted in the animated holiday special. I have this. This came courtesy of someone. This is a gift. It's still in the packaging. I don't want to remove it from the packaging because it's just cool. Because the card and the box design is I think epic. But Boba Fett showed up. He was there, and he was actually interacting with Luke Skywalker. This is before anybody really knew who he was, but it was our first look at Boba Fett. And I like that action figure design as well. Kind of neat. You can still get this figure if you want. The animated debut of Boba Fett. This is the only redeeming part of the holiday special, in my humble opinion. That's my opinion. But I don't think it would have been any better if Lucas had control. Because it was kind of like, well, how do you mix this, the idea of a holiday special from a galaxy far, far away with our own holiday traditions? It was bound to not work well at a time where the way they executed it was the way they executed it. It's difficult to watch now. Back in the day, it may have been a bit more palatable, but even Lucas didn't like it. It was just too cheesy. It was way too cheesy. And it really cheesed things up, like in a big way. I think it would be interesting to see a redo of the holiday special. And I think it's possible to update it or modernize it if they scrap everything and start over again with the idea of Life Day. I think a lot of it could be redeemed. I think we're probably past that. It's left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. Sorry, this is the question. I'm answering the question. I know, Star Wars dedicated channel. I realize. Barry asks, when will Jedi's Giggle album be released? She's had days where she just giggle. Yesterday, she had another giggle fit. We found out that a pillow will make her laugh. Just playing with the pillow. She pillow. So pillows throw her into giggle fits. So if you liked the 2-minute giggle fit from yesterday's Pirillo vlog, then the giggle fit that we had yesterday will be posted in another week or so for that Pirillo vlog. So she will continue to giggle her way into everybody's hearts. I don't think she's going to be releasing an album, though. Tony asks, question number 60. If you were to do a Star Wars dedicated channel, will it be more of a Star Wars geek haul, or would you do some actual storytelling? Tony, I think it's a mix. The only reason why I did the geek hauls or because I get a lot of stuff on a regular basis, and I don't really, it's not really worth doing separate videos for a lot of the stuff. Like if I get an iPhone cable, or let's say the Ollie, the Sphero Ollie, which I talked about yesterday, posted a video on Facebook asking what you would do with this. There's a reason I asked that on Facebook, and you may want to pay attention to that. But if I did a separate video on the Ollie, it wouldn't track well. I just know it would. Even if it's a gadget, even if it's fun, if history has been any indicator, people just aren't interested in seeing a video on that. I mean, for me at least. So, I was looking for a way with the Star Wars stuff to just, put it all into one. And so I was doing it because I get this stuff anyway. I enjoy it. And I love this stuff, and I want to talk about this stuff. So it would probably be a mix between I just got this new thing, or, here's my reaction to this Star Wars this, or this Star Wars that. Here's my take on this week's Star Wars news. It's going to be a mix, and I don't know what's going to stick. It's just going to be themed all things Star Wars. And I don't have an idea. There's no construct for it because there's really not a lot of people doing it on YouTube. A lot of people publish podcasts around Star Wars, but I haven't gone that route. I'd also like to, within that channel, do more interviews, because there are local people that I've met who have collections, like fantastic collections, and they want to tell their stories and share their collections. So in many ways, my Star Wars passion may be a gateway to connect with other people who have Star Wars passions as well and surface what they've got, their collections, their stuff. It's going to be about me, but it's going to be about the community at large. Question number 61. Where do you sell your used products? Any advice? eBay is a good place, although I've got to be careful with my eBay, my public eBay, because people have gamed it. This is what happens when you have any amount of notoriety. I don't publish a lot that way if I'm selling something. Usually it's kind of like off the cuff. I might mention something on Twitter. Maybe if I find that someone has a need, I'm like, I could sell it to them. I'm very, very careful about how I sell things. Craigslist is an option, although it kind of creeps me out too, even meeting in public places, just because there are people who are really, 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 really freaking creepy. And that can be anywhere. That's not just a Craigslist thing. But in terms of where, if I know there's a value to it, I'll usually pitch it out like, hey, I'm getting rid of this. Hey, I'm getting rid of that. There are also, as far as gadgets go, reselling services. Amazon's got one. Generally speaking, you got to look at where it's most competitive. So for these reselling services, you can sell your old gadgets like your iPhones, iPads, Android devices. They generally will hold most of their value. But here's the thing, like you can buy an Android device for like $500 or whatever. If you turn around and sell that or try to sell that within a year, it's like worth $50. Tech just doesn't hold value. Apple's the best, I guess, as far as value goes. Apple products hold the most value after you've used them. But I would tend to look into, if it was something that I knew had a value, I would look into marketplaces that specifically sold or resold those products, and then do competitive analysis as to what are they going to take this product, how much are they willing to give me for it, and is that the best price I can get anywhere. I don't have any specific leads beyond that. eBay, I would say, it just, like I said, it depends on what it is that you're going for. I'm actually going to be writing up a couple of eBay guides in the next week or two about technology. I would use eBay to find some stuff, like especially in relation to collecting. I would go there because generally speaking, you can deal with reputable people who've got reputation. Generally speaking, but it just depends. It depends on what it is that you're wanting to sell, and knowing where you're going to be able to get the most money from it. I'm not an eBayer in the sense that I sell a lot of stuff through eBay. In fact, I can't even tell you the last time I sold something on eBay. It's been a long, long time. I buy things on eBay, but I don't sell a whole lot on eBay, because most of the things that I might sell, I think I can get a higher value elsewhere, rather than putting people in a bidding war with something that might not yield as much revenue at the end of the day. So the answer to that question is, it really depends on what the product is that I'm trying to sell. Etsy might be another place that I might consider selling a used product if it was considered vintage. Question number 62. Has Patreon ever been like, hey, Chris, stop talking smack about us? I'll give Patreon credit. I've really slapped them around a lot. But, I believe they deserve it and they should be able to take it. They know they've got problems. They know they've got massive shortcomings in their system. And anything I tell them is only said to make their product better. Now, that being said, I've got the Patreon campaign with the patrons, the super nomies, but I'm also going to be launching other crowdfunding content campaigns. And not on Patreon. Patreon is just not the place for everything. I'm going to be setting up an entrepreneur course. And that video course or, system is going to be probably on vhx.tv. I think they've got different things to offer, and I want to try that platform and engage potentially a different part of my general community. I'll talk about it. I'll tease it. I'll say, yeah, you can pledge and support TLDR and get other bonus videos, or if you're interested in my entrepreneurial information and intelligence, you can crowdfund me here, and then I may be spinning up like media production help as what would you call it? A co-production between myself and John Prosser. So, it's finding the right system that works and that will allow me to spend less time dealing with the headaches that Patreon's made me deal with. It's been better to deal with Patreon than, not having Patreon at all. And they understand. Any kind of feedback I give anybody is usually done, because I want the product to be better and I need the product to be better. Brian Roberts asks, did you know Seinfeld was coming to Hulu? I did not. I don't subscribe to Hulu as much as I did at one point, but I don't watch Hulu as much as I had, because a lot of the stuff might be replicated on other services I subscribe to, like Netflix or Amazon. And why overpay for something that you'd have access to? I mean, there's some benefits in going with one provider, depending if you want to watch the shows over and over again. But I tend to watch Seinfeld. If it's on TV, I'll tune in, and serendipity, I'm watching it right then. But I have not, I don't watch it enough. Netflix, I think we currently have a subscription for Netflix, but even then, I'm not sure if we're seeing a lot of value with Netflix right now. I'm sure that's going to change as Jedi gets older, because it'll be easier for her to tap a button, or for us to set her up, and for her to watch shows or what have you on Netflix. I keep Netflix if only because they're producing series that I really, really enjoy. Daredevil being one of them, House of Cards being another. I've been meaning to watch Orange is the New Black. A variety of series, and they're going to continue to produce more. And so I can't just quit the service for a month and save $8 when it's just as easy to, just stay subscribed and have that as an option to be able to watch one thing or another at any given time in the future. Brian H. I know you're mostly a software guy. Thank you, Brian, for listening. I appreciate that. Which is why, that there's some geeks out there who produce tech content who said that Google I.O. was boring. And I don't disagree with them. But, Google made some rather exciting announcements yesterday. They just did it in a way that I don't think hardware geeks really understand how powerful it was. Google Photos. Now, I will tell you this. Google Photos, after using it briefly, I did this in yesterday's patron hangout. I'm blown away with how powerful Google Photos is. Google Photos is killer. It is probably, it's not perfect, but I can tell you outright, it is better. From my just initial experience, it is a better photo management service on iOS than Apple's iPhotos. Or, I'm sorry, just Photos. iPhoto is dead, for all intents and purposes. I will say this again, and I tweeted it this morning. Google Photos trumps Apple Photos on iOS in every conceivable way, or just about every conceivable way. That's exciting. That is very exciting. Now, does that mean, they didn't talk about new hardware? Well, they talked about it last year and what shipped. Google's not a hardware company. Google's using its software prowess to basically suck in your data, to siphon the data that you give them, and in return, you're going to get awesome service. Like, I was blown away when I opened Google Photos at new faces. I'm like, oh, wow, I had no idea I had photos of this face. Not my face necessarily, but faces from the face, from past history. It picked up photos of my dad. It picked up photos of Jedi. I'm like, whoa, that's insane. That's awesome. I didn't have to tag anything. It knew. And then it categorized. This was even more awesome. My voice is getting higher pitched because this was cool. It categorized. It said, hey, here are all your food pictures. And I'm like, it knew. Except for one photo. It had like all the minifigures' heads. that I took a picture of it, and it much like Liz thought, it looked like corn. Yellow minifigure heads, Lego minifigure heads. It categorized that as food, but I'm like, okay, I'll give it a pass. It even categorized my Lego pictures. I mean, it was insane. It was smart. It was very, very smart. What they talked about yesterday was basically making things contextually relevant, making computing smarter for you, making things work. Their Google Now on tap, I think, is, I'm going to go as far as to say revolutionary. Not evolutionary. I think it's revolutionary. To be able to, you're listening to, something, you're listening to, okay, who is this? And you ask the Google on tap, or the Now on tap, is that what it's called? A bad name for it. But anyway, it knows you're listening to a song. It listens, oh, it's this person. Hey, when was this person born? Hey, what other albums has this guy done? You just ask a question. You don't have to think about what it is that you're asking or how to ask the question. Google is smart enough to give you relevant information. That is where Google is strong. They know their strengths. Their strengths are not hardware. Their strengths are in software, and maybe in platforms. And they're obviously tilting at that with the Chrome OS and Android, making incremental improvements with that. But as I spoke to yesterday, a lot of that value may be abstracted and thrown into Google Play services, which is great for people who have an Android device, but they're with a provider that isn't updating to the latest version of Android. That's less of an issue than what it was. So I thought Google, announced very exciting things. The jump mechanism, that looks to be awesome. I want to get a cardboard now. I don't know which cardboard to get. If you have any recommendations, let me know. They're available on Amazon, so I can pick one up through there. But there's a few of them, and I'm like, well, I don't want to waste even $20, even though I would be exchanging one of the gift cards that I got courtesy of go.tagjag.com/free points or go.tagjag.com/free apps. That's how I get my Amazon gift cards. But I don't know. I don't know which cardboard I want. But now it's available for iOS. Google is playing smart. Very, very, very smart. And they're doing what they do best. They recognize that search is more than just web pages these days. They've got to make your world more accessible. They've got to, think beyond the value of owning the platform. And that's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what Microsoft's doing. I mean, they're doing exactly what they need to be doing. And if that's not exciting, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you understand technology. If you don't think yesterday's Google I.O. was exciting, was it? Whoa! No, but if you don't understand the excitement around what it is they're doing and how transformative and how powerful it is, I don't think you understand tech. I really don't. Because it may not have been flashy, and it may not have been Apple-esque, and it may not have been the latest hardware, but just because Google didn't announce really any latest hardware innovations didn't mean that Google I.O. was worthless. Absolutely, if you just listen and understand where they're positioning themselves and what it means to you as the average person, and how they're basically onboarding the next billion people, is that exciting for us? No, because we already live in that world. But the next billion people don't. Their first computer is going to be this. Probably not an iPhone. It's probably going to be an Android One device. And that, for them, it's transformative. Once you have access to information, knowledge is power. It's transformative. And this really, come on. That is epic. That is epic. It's not just about the hardware. Google shows this service, this now on tap, and I'm like, wow. If I was Apple, I'd be like, ooh, that's pretty smart. That makes Siri look even more stupid than it is. Wow, that's really intelligent. Google is really, they announced, I thought, some exciting stuff. Some evolutionary, and honestly, some revolutionary as well. And it was exciting to see a mix of people on stage, males, females, not just white people. That, I'm a white guy. I'm about as white as it comes. Hello, or in Hawaii, they call me the Howley. No, I'm not the Howley. I'm a Howley. Howley? I probably said that wrong, too. So, to see how Google is evolving, I mean, they everything they were talking about seemed relevant. It seemed, current. It was their heads in the game. It seemed confident. It didn't seem like it was a stack of vaporware, honestly. And that's exciting to me. It really is. But, again, I'm more of a software guy. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the, like, if I see like a tech YouTuber, talking, well, it wasn't that exciting. I'm like, you're not listening. You're not paying attention. You don't understand where technology is. It's not just about the latest hardware. It's not just about the latest gadget. It's about what it does. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to people. This is why I'm a horrible tech YouTuber, because I don't think like them. I love them, and I love what they do, but it's not just about the specs of the device. Specs are irrelevant. They're absolutely irrelevant when it transforms, when it changes lives at such a substantial level. I mean, imagine what your life was like if you knew life before you had access to the internet. Do you remember that? I do. It sucked by comparison. Sucked. The internet transforms lives. Technology transforms lives. Culturally, and okay, I'm getting too excited. I can't even speak right now. Anyway, okay, moving on because I want to make sure all the patrons get their questions addressed here. Brian H. Let me finish your question. I know you're mostly a software guy, but do you find that sometimes great hardware is rendered useless by really bad software from the company that created it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Some great hardware out there, but the software is horrific. Absolutely beyond horrific. And likewise, there's some good software out there that unfortunately is crippled, I think, by really not so great hardware. For example, he's got the Razer Deathstalker keyboard and the Death Adder mouse, both great quality products, but the Razer Synapse that saves custom key bindings and settings to a cloud backup totally ruins them with bugs and random issues caused by the software. When I contact support, they just say, try making another preset or close the Synapse and reinstall. Great hardware companies that don't know how to program at all, or they outsource to a company that they should not be outsourcing through. It's true. It's absolutely true. And now he's talking, he says, don't even get me started on the NVIDIA GeForce Experience graphics card game optimization service. I'm telling you, it's not just a feature, it's the implementation. I said, well, why do you think I just stopped getting so excited about hardware? Because the software was just not that great, or the service was really not that great. Why do you think? I mean, it's interesting, like Google is, announcing Brillo, and we kind of referred to that a few weeks ago in TLDR. Brillo, not to be confused with Pirillo. My last name, spelled it, it's not my last name, Brillo. They're powering IoT. You've got Apple with HomeKit. These trying to enable these experiences, and I'm just really, really not hip as much as I used to be in adopting new services, if only because I don't know if they've thought everything through, and that concerns me. If only from a security standpoint. The more tech I welcome into my life, it seems the more I have to manage. I'm like, I don't want that. The older you get, the less likely you are to want to fuss around with things. Unless you're the type of person who likes to fuss around with things, and I'm not. I just want things to work. I want them to be great. And unfortunately, I think software is a major factor into making good hardware not so good. Without software, you can't have hardware. And without hardware, you can't have software. Well, okay, I guess you can have hardware without software, but what's the point? Steve Mannering asks as a follow-up question about my video quality in the iPad while watching YouTube videos. Try watching a YouTube video on your iPad with Safari and letting me know if 720p is the highest setting available when you press the gear icon. Want to know if you run into the limitation too. Steve, I'll have to do that. Or someone else will have to follow up with you on that, Steve. I'll give it a shot. Mitchell C. McClendon asks, a few years ago, when you reviewed the Targus keyboard case for the iPad, I noticed that you don't currently have a keyboard case connected to your iPad Air. Wondering if you plan on using one again in the future. No. Or have you decided using on-screen keyboard instead? Yeah. I don't need an external keyboard for my mobile devices. I'm not the use case for it. I don't do a lot of writing. If I do, it's just I don't want to do a lot of keying on my iPad, and it's easy enough to key like this on my phone. Most of my heavy-duty writing work usually would happen at a traditional desktop. But if I eschewed the traditional desktop, I'd probably be going with a Bluetooth keyboard, probably likely a case kind of keyboard. They're nice to try, but I just find that they're also lacking in some way, shape, or form, and usually in usability. The best wireless keyboard, Bluetooth wireless keyboard I've ever used is probably the Apple wireless keyboard. I'm not saying that because it's Apple. I'm saying it because it's absolutely one of the best keyboards I've ever used. And I'm not the only person to say that. There are people out there who are not Apple fans, and they don't like Apple at all, but they know that the keyboard's great. Steve Mannering says you've mentioned in your 2012 Prius review that you believe you didn't get a good deal on the lease. Can you give us advice to us car layman people who are interested in leasing vehicles? Also, based on your experience, do you really save money when leasing instead of buying? You don't save money. That's the thing. You don't. You probably spend more money, but what you get is not strapped to a car. that doesn't have any value. I mean, in my opinion, a car is just to me a mechanism to get from point A to point B. And I think the days for people wanting to buy vehicles are over. And I guess millennials kind of think this way. They don't want to buy a vehicle. And so the car industries are going, what do we do? No one wants to buy a car. What do we do? Leasing is expensive or more expensive. But the thing is that, you know, if I knew I'm not going to drive the vehicle for an extended period of time, if I'm not attached to the car, see, the car to me is a tool. That's it. I mean, I might care what the tool can do, and I want a great tool. But I look at the car like I look at a computer, or I look at a phone. It's a tool. It's a hammer. It's a screwdriver. It's a series of wrenches. You know, I mean, it's a tool. And I don't want to deal with maintenance. I don't want to deal with fixing. And I'm not a car geek. Just like I'm not a hardware geek. I enjoy the hardware for what it does and how it enables me to do things. Just like I enjoy the fact that a tape measure enables me to measure things. You know, I'm simplifying, right, in that sense. So it's not just about saving money. If you want to save money, you're probably better off getting a used car and then owning it. But then you're going to be strapped with maybe not payments, but you may be strapped with, maintenance and other costs associated with that particular vehicle. Plus, I believe that, you know, every few years you get new tech inside of vehicles. And so why would I want to buy a car? Forgive me for just diving deeper into this. My mentality is, why would I buy a car knowing full well that 3 years from now a better car is going to be available? And then I'll have to sell this car? That's a pain in the neck. I don't want to do that. So to me, what you should do is research. And I would say use the internet. I've had less than zero luck dealing with a single dealership out there. I think dealerships are on their way out, honestly. I think until I can be proven otherwise, dealerships, I believe, do more to screw the car buyer or leaser than help them. Flat out. You know, they lie. They don't tell maybe they don't lie. They avoid truths. And I think dealerships are largely irrelevant. Just gonna say it. Gonna put it out there. They need to evolve. And so I would use the internet in every way, shape, or form. I think and this was my problem. The last time I leased a vehicle, I knew more than the guy who sold it to me. And the guy got a commission. Where's my commission? Why didn't I get those points? I knew more about the car than he did. That really upset me. And I got to run around when it came to getting the car. But it was the most convenient way of getting that car. Because of the way that I wanted to get that car. And that was a car I wanted. I don't care. I'm like, I don't want to mess with it. What's this? I don't want to mess with anything. You know, I don't want to drive around and drive a million cars. Now I do because I'm on a review cycle, right? I try a different car every week. Love that. It's been the most amazing thing for me. So, and apparently for other people as well. So my suggestion is to a car layperson, go to the internet. Honestly, go to the internet. Do your research yourself and be empowered. So when you walk in to get that car, if you don't get it online in some way, shape, or form, you're going to know more and you're going to save money and you're going to be better informed than the dealership, certainly. And you're going to know if the dealership's screwing you. And I think that's the dealership's job because they got to make money. So how do they make their money? Think about that. How does a dealership make their money? How do they make their money? I think dealerships, they've been, let me put it this way. They've been trying to push Tesla showcases out of any realm of possibility of existing within states. Car dealerships, man, I'm telling you, car salesman. Inform yourself. You got to do research. You're your best advocate. You are absolutely your best advocate. I can only tell you, based on my driving experiences, but I don't want to deal with the dealership. Honestly, I don't. Until I've been proven otherwise. I'm happy to see exceptions to the rule. I'm thrilled to find exceptions to that rule. You got to inform yourself. And I think it's the bottom line is skipping the dealership, buying direct. Or buying through some kind of internet website that understands that they're going to give you a best deal and actually act competitively rather than in a predatory fashion. And I don't trust dealerships until I've been proven otherwise. I've been given no reason to trust them, none whatsoever. Don't trust them. I don't trust salespeople. Don't trust them for good reason. They're usually based on commission. And when someone's based on commission, Do you think they're going to tell you everything? Do you think they're going to tell you everything? You know, you're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on something. You know, and if their livelihood is based on their ability to sell you something or to have you walk away, what do you think they're going to do? You know, it's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Some people have called me a salesperson. They have. They really genuinely have. I guess to a certain degree, if I get excited about something, I'm happy to talk about it. In many ways, I do sell things. I sell action figures. I sell t-shirts. I sell, you know, technology. Don't make a lot from it, but it's fun. I enjoy talking about this stuff. So, Steve, hopefully that addresses your question. Maybe not in a specific way because I don't really have a direct lead for you. But keep tuning into all my car reviews because they're kind of fun to do. Trying a new vehicle every week or so. Posting those video reviews to my classic channel that seems to be doing well. People really appreciate me just being honest with my experiences because I got nothing to prove. I'm like, hey, this is the car. I like this. I didn't like this. I think this is who it's for. I think this is who it's not for. It's just like I do anything. You know, this is who it's for. This is who it's not for. So, because even if it's not for me, I also understand that it may be for somebody else. Some people don't see that. Some reviewers don't necessarily see that. So, thank you for trusting me, and thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the fact that you are a direct supporter of the things that I do. Thank you for your pledges. Thank you for your ongoing support. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to roll into the Patreon Hangout. May see you over there. Thank you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.